morning to you. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. My name is Brighton Ncube. Over the past few weeks, I've been talking to members of parliament and councillors, aspiring candidates from different political parties, and telling us their manifestos and what they will deliver once they get to parliament or local authority chambers. So this morning, I'm joined by one of the double candidates for CCC in Cowdray Park, Ward 28. Vusumuzi Chirwa joins me this morning to unpack his manifesto. Good morning to you, Vusumuzi Chirwa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Maybe tell us, who is Vusumuzi Chirwa in terms of politics?
Vusumuzi Chirwa is a resident of Bulawayo, born and bred in Bulawayo. I reside in Cowdray Park. I've been a resident in Cowdray Park for over 20 years now. I'm a social justice activist, a human rights defender who has worked with a number of organizations in Bulawayo. To name some, I was the Secretary General of the Radio Dialogue General Council. I worked as a field officer for Zimbabwe Development Democracy Trust. I was the organizer for Cowdray Park Community-Based Planning, a community-based organization. Planner izinto ezinjengabo stadium okumele kube khona eCowdray Park. That was in 2012 of fire station of fire brigade. We did that planning in 2012. Lesibhedlela, we planted that in 2012. Ngingu-organizer we-community-based planning. Ngisebenze labo Zim Rights, of which I'm still the current secretary for Cowdray Park chapter. Lapho kade sisebenzisana ngezinto zamalungelo. Senza ama-legal clinics, si-assista abantu abafuna izinto eziphathelane lamalungelo. Njenge-human rights defender ngisebenze labo Amnesty International kakhulu, and twice I was nominated as the best human rights activist of the year by Amnesty International, and I have won several awards as well. I was Zimbabwe Development Democracy Trust Bulawayo's Community Leader of the Year from 2012 to 2016 in a row, Zlandelana. Also in 2012, I won the award, the CivNet, Leadership Award, the CivNet. So kunenge kade ngikwenza ku community yami, as far as my contribution to the community, it speaks for itself. In Ngozi mine there, in 2016, we facilitated for the building of play toilets, which still exist to now. Ungafika khona uzazibonela izinto engabaphathela zona Ngozi mine kulama play toilets. Also in 2016, ngancedisa i-team ye-netball eCowdray Park, salungisa i-ground ye-netball, safaka ama-goal posts for netball. I've also played a critical role in the setting up of a vocational training center in the Nehemiah project. Ngincedisana lapho. Ezinye izinto angiyazi eziningi kakhulu. I was also the secretary for Cowdray Park Transport Task Force. Ekade senza ukungeja lama transport operators ku transport industry, the Minister of Transport and all the stakeholders involved. Lapho sasilo hlupho lwe transport. So I was the founding interim secretary for that. Also in 2012, I led a fact-finding mission in the neighboring farm where we had cases of sexual abuse. Omama beCowdray Park bebanjwe iganyavu lapho besiyatheza inkuni eplazini lenelo. So I led a fact-finding mission there. Sayengejana lama owners ayiplazi lakhona sathola indlela zokumitigate that. So ngokunye nje engikwenzileyo nje eCowdray Park. Also ngike ngafacilitator through working with the Precious Life, okufundisa abantwana abangamantombazana ama-course Precious Life afana labo hairdressing, of fashion and fabrics, agriculture. So every year bengihambisa abantwana about 10 besiyafunda mahara khona ngale. So some of the things that are facilitated in Cowdray Park. So as well, in 2020, I was the founding advisor for the Cowdray Park Youth Association. Inhlanganiso esayifoma silama youth party ngingu-advisor wabo. Ile nhloso yokuthi ithole istand sabatsha esama youth. So in December last year, istand leso sisaphuma esama youth, of which sikhona lapho now in the present Ward 15. So bengisebenza labatsha eCowdray Park Youth Association, siba trainer, sibapha capacity building, sibancedisa konke kade sikuncedisa from even our personal resources.
But allow me to jump to political side now, political background. Which party do you belong to, and what made you jump to join this political party?
Well, I've been a member of I joined actually MDC in 2000 as a youth, while I was still in Lopengola, before I moved to Cowdray Park. So ngaqhubeka njalo ngise-Cowdray Park again, MDC kwaze wafonywa i-CCC ngise-Cowdray Park. Sayisebenzela sishaya umgwazo konke up to now.
All right. So let's move on. You're saying you're staying in Cowdray Park. What are some of the challenges that are faced by Cowdray Park? You know, the issue of my clinic. At sometimes my clinic or Cowdray Park avula from 8 to 4 value. What are some of the problems that you can know, I can pick out from the resident of Cowdray Park?
Well, ama challenges you wanna allow ukuthi la ukhulume ngama clinic. Clinic kahle kahle thina asilayo. Maybe now specifically in my ward, I can say we don't have a clinic because what we have that site is a makeshift clinic. Sikhangela ukuthi even yona le makeshift clinic ekhona ngabe iyavula maybe 24/7, ivule ngama weekends, ivule ngama holidays, kumbe nxa ingavuli 24/7 at least ivule till late, ngokunye sikukhangeleleyo. So amanye ama challenges iwona la ukuthi kule mgwaqo efuna ukugradwa, efuna regraveling, ama challenges crime, substance abuse kwabatsha, awe gender based violence, ngamanye ama challenges akhona eCowdray Park, specifically in my ward. Yeah.
But also let's speak about the issue of delimitation, right? You know, people are still confused on the boundaries. There's Ward 28, there's Ward, is it 8, then there's Ward 6 as well. Maybe give us the boundaries of those 3 wards. Where does Ward 28 start from? Where does it end from?
Okay. Ward 28 uqalela eSporweni, mawungena ovele town uziyafika uhamba ngeThara uziye phelele eGarikai, esandleni sakho sokudla, that's Ward 28. From Garikai uhambe ngomgwaqo oqonde wokuflight uziyefika duze leTategulu, ungena ngeDust Road usiyathutsha kuNgozi Mine 10. Ward 28 lo. Yes, that's Ward 28. Cover konke usiyema4 ngale. Yeah, Ward 28. Then ungena njalo futhi eCowdray Park uvelele town again on your left side. Uziyefika eGarikai Ward 6. Ekhona ngesandla senxele, sonxele. Uqanisa uziyebamba icaravan, then uthena ngecaravan. Usiya empompini esandleni sakho senxele, again that's Ward 6. Then the remaining portion is Ward 15.
But I think you have seen some of the issues in Bulawayo Council right now. There's been the issue of privatization of many things in Bulawayo. What's your key issue around issue of privatization? I spoke to someone earlier this week. Someone spoke about the issue of public-private partnerships. So say the council has been giving out maybe tenders to other companies. What do you think of the issue of privatization? Will it help council to raise revenue?
Well, I believe. I believe in the PPPs, the public-private partnerships, as long as they are done in a way that produces the kind of development that we want as a city. I believe in the build, operate, transfer method of developing our city. I believe that should be done. Kodwa engibona ngani kumele sikhangele kakhulu ngama maybe ama contracts akhona ukuthi madonga kanani vis-a-vis ukuthi development yabe fakiwe khonapho, because ukuthi omunye umuntu maybe engasakhela nje into encane then esefuna ukui-operator for 100 years imboni ngane kaba ungahambisani, kamele okunye kukhangelisiswe so that into ezinjalo zingenzwa masinyane ziphinde zithathwe ngubulawayo back zibe sezandleni zikabulawayo.
But also the issue of finances in Bulawayo, you know, I've been facing a lot of issues, but there's also the point around the issue of finances. We are relying more on rentals to raise revenue as a council.
Yes.
As an incoming councillor, if you win as a councillor, what can you bring in terms of revenue creation for the city of Bulawayo?
Well, thank you for that question, because it speaks into my manifesto as well. I've got my manifesto, which I call the 6-pack plan for Cowdray Park, that looks into infrastructure development and rehabilitation. It looks into formalization of the informal sector. It looks into the portfolio diversification by the city council. It looks into crime combating. It looks into pro-poor policies adoption. So it's a 6-pack plan that I have. So coming to your question, I think the city council should diversify its portfolio. And that's why I have the portfolio diversification point. The city council should have other streams of income. We should invest at least 3% of our revenue. We should invest even in other private companies as well, so that we get more revenue. Singa investor, for instance, ma company afana labo Simbisa Brands yabona or Insco or Econet, ama company esikwazi to stable in terms of production and profit, so we can invest at least 3% of our revenue, not more than 5%. And I'll also be looking at ukuthi even we can come up with the company yogu boklamans. We have our own bottled water which we can sell and supply to supermarkets and restaurants around the city. Abantu bathenga amanzi nxa besemakhefa bathenga amanzi ayikhansile, because ungakhangela amanye amanzi siwathenga i-bottled water i-municipal water yamanye ama-municipalities as well. So I think we can diversify our portfolios, sikhangela amanye ama-areas where we can raise revenue so that we subsidize ama-rate payers.
You said earlier on you've been part of Cowdray Park for 20 years, right? I'm sure you have heard about Zibut and other associations, residents associations. How important are these associations when it comes to development of a community?
Well, they are very, very important. They're very, very important because they are the key stakeholders of the community. I've been talking to some of my supporters, addressing them on the need of bringing all stakeholders on board. Ngingangena into engikhangela ukuthi ngiyenze yikulauncha what I will call iWAT Development Committee ezoba nama stakeholders onke eCowdray Park, so that everybody is brought on board and everyone has got a say. I'll be looking into bringing our representatives as Wute, our Residents Association, our church, the business community, women, youth, people with disabilities, the transport sector, the education sector, and the health sector. Yonkama sectors across all spectrums have a representation who are development committee. AU is a foster that development in Cowdray Park. Yonke into esabe senzela ukuthi sibonisane abantu abalobuchwepheshe obutshiyeneyo sihlanganise amakhanda ethu songena.
Oftentimes always hear residents saying ukuthi uCouncilor kahambe ezimfeni, uCouncilor kakhambele abanye. In your own understanding, Mr. Chirwa, what is the role of a councillor?
Well, for starters, a councillor is a councillor, not a councillor. So there's a difference between a councillor and a councillor. Me, I'm going to be a councillor because my responsibility will be to make policies. My responsibility is not to comfort people as such. Kodwa as a private citizen and as a leader in the community, ngila umlando ukuthi uphatheke ezintweni zonke ezenzela community, uphatheke ezimfeni ungene, kodwa kungasikho ukuthi ngumsebenzi kaCouncilor. I'm not obligated to do that. Kodwa ngikwenza kumele sikwenze ngobuntu, ibuntu bethu sikwenza ngobuntu, not ukuthi ngumsebenzi kaCouncilor. So I really believe ukuthi abantu kumele bafundiswe khona phana ukuthi uCouncilor nguCouncilor kaso Councilor. I'm not coming in to deal with the issues of marriages, to deal with the issues of family or families. I'm not coming in to handle izinto zabantu nje as a private. I'm a policy maker, an aspiring policy maker. So ngiyathanda ukuthi khona ukuthi be clear. And the other thing, kumele futhi kube clear, even izinto engizihangla as a councillor, lezinto ezihangla yi-council or i-housing office, njengoba sile housing office endaweni yethu. I-housing office ikhona ukuthi ihandle izinto ezi-administrative. I'm not an administrator myself. So abantu kumele bebekwazi ukuthi kulezinto ze-administration ezidinga administration. Yeah. I-housing department, i-housing office yethu ile housing, ile department, ile finance department, ile town planning department. Most departments are represented within the housing office. So kulezinto zokuthi abantu bafundiswe ukuthi lokhu la lokho yikupho ongakusa ku-councilor, yikupho ongakusa i-housing office yakho eseduzane lawo.
In your ward that you are aspiring to be a councillor from Ward 28, right? From St. Post there, going straight to Oakflight, going straight to Karikai, a lot of vendors along the road there. Also, if you come to the Bulawayo CPD, many vendors along the pavement. How will you address the issue of vendors, informal traders in your ward and also in the CPD of Bulawayo?
Well, starting in my ward, we will look into areas which are safe for vendors to do their trade. Labo abasebenzele endaweni ezilobungozi, we cannot formalize that. Kodwa bakhona abanye abasebenzela kuma safe spaces, masikhangele maybe distance from kubo kusiya emgwaqweni lapho imoto ezihamba khona, singathola ukuthi lapho ku safe sizo ukuthi si formalize ukusebenza kwabo, so that we also collect revenue, i-council ithole i-revenue, because i-revenue enenge elahlekayo. Njalo futhi kumele sikunanzelele ukuthi ilizwe lethu we are in a country which has deformalized the informal sector. So we are also trying now to formalize the informal sector ngokuthi isinanzelele abantu abasebenzayo. So konke kungafika terminus laphana abanenge abasebenzela endaweni ezicheneyo. So sizaletha nje ama experts from a council, town planning department, ke sibonisana ukuthi how best can we accommodate them, especially njengoba abantu abanenge sizama ukuthi baphume town emadorobheni bazosebenzela ngaphi emalokishini lapha abavela khona, so that we decongest the city. Kodwa ungakhangela futhi masisize emalokishini kakhulu, uzathola ukuthi indawo ezabe zibekiwe ngicouncil ukuthi abantu bethengisele khona kakhulu zabe zise ema shopping centers, kube kanti amatomatisi athengiselwa from different points. So kumele sizinanzele indawo zona ezokuthi we need to comply with the reality at hand.
If you're just joining us on the Breakfast Club, my name is Brighton Ncube, and my guest this morning is Vusumuzi Chirwa, an aspiring councillor for Ward 28. We're speaking about his policy and also his vision for Bulawayo, and also unpicking his manifesto. Now, Mr. Chirwa, let's look at the issue now, looking at where you want to run for councillor, so Ward 28, right?
Yes.
Someone can say there's another candidate again there, Ward 28. Are you sure? How sure are you that you're going to win this election, where there are two people coming from the same party?
I'm going to win because I'm the people's candidate. I have the support of all stakeholders, the support of all the people that I've worked for over the years. I've volunteered a lot of projects in Cowdray Park. Some of the initiatives engizenzele wona, remember I was also leading the Washmen's Forum, which looked into water, sanitation and hygiene in partnership with the organization World Vision, the Australian Aid and the Australian Embassy. Safaka impompi ezimbili eduze lasempopini ama community taps ngesikhathi kusasetshenziswa ama community taps. I was leading that as the secretary. We engaging we're engaging these partners that I was telling you about. So there's a lot of development that we initiated and of which I was part of it. So we initiate. So people really appreciate the work that I did over the years. Voluntary, and I want to continue from where I left and take things from another level.
Yeah. The current sitting councillor for Cowdray Park is Councilor ZANU-PF. Coming from ZANU-PF. Maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, how can you rate his performance so far for his first 5 terms in 5-year office term of office?
Well, I think that's 0. 0.
Why are you giving me 0?
The guy has been invisible. He's been invisible. That's simple. That's all I can say. He was invisible. Abantu bebemdinga akatholakali and is not responsive.
Let's look at the issue of bylaws in Bulawayo. There are many outdated laws. People have been saying this law is outdated. What are some of the bylaws that we'll try to review once you win becoming the councillor for Cowdray Park? What are some of the laws that you want to look into and try to review?
Like in my manifesto, my 6-pack plan, I look into pro-poor policies adoption. So in pro-poor policies adoption, I want to take into cognizance abantu abahluphekayo, abantu abaswelayo kakhulu ukuthi singabachiyi phandle. For instance, looking into the issue of housing. Siyabe sikhangelela ukuthi ngabe i-council ingaba le account ukuthi especially a pre-sale where people can pay over a period say of 5 years to 10 years. Abantu bavunyelwa ukuthenga izitendi because khathesi ngendlela okwenzakala ngakhona uthi ukuthi umuntu odubekayo umuntu ozithengisela amatamatisi angeke enelise ukuba lesitendi sakhe koBulawayo. So ngezinye izinto esifuna ukuzitshintsha zona lezo.
Alright. In closing, Mr. Chirwa, if come August 23 at the ballot paper, I'm coming from Cowdray Park, why should I vote for Vusumuzi Chirwa, not Ntando Nkosi, the other candidate?
Well, I'm a person with a vision. My vision for Cowdray Park is clear. I want to facilitate a suburb of choice where residents can enjoy living in that particular suburb of Cowdray Park. Residents will enjoy the services in line with the Bill of Rights, which is articulated in our Constitution. I'm a man with a mission. I've got a mission for Cowdray Park. My mission is to improve lives and livelihoods for the people of Cowdray Park, to facilitate the relationship between the right holders and the duty bearers. So I'm a man with a mission, and I'm also guided by my core values in this campaign and even in my leadership. I've got only 3 core values that will guide my leadership. That's it. EAT, which stands for excellence, accountability, and transparency.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Breakfast Club this morning, Vusumuzi Chirwa. There you have it. This has been the Breakfast Club. My name is Brighton. Today I was joined by one of the double candidates from CCC, aspiring councillor for Ward 28, Mr. Vusumuzi Chirwa. Hope you guys enjoy the show and also do follow aside for more election updates.